How is it going, everybody? This is the Heart Pirates TCG here, and I just won my locals with about 19 players with this blue crocodile right here. Guys, I know it's been a week since I posted. I'm very sorry. I just got a new job, so I've been working a lot, and then also, I've been working out a lot too, trying to get back in like a healthier shape. Back kind of like how I was when I was in the military. I just want to be more healthy than I am right now, and then also just doing like life stuff, hanging out with friends, and this girl I've been seeing is pretty cool too. So I did win this winner Bonnie as well as this winner Dawn. I was very upset, or not very upset, but I was very sad that he didn't have the winner pack 4 available because I really wanted the winner Mihawk. I have yet to get one. It has eluded me thus far. And without further ado, I want to kind of go ahead and talk about what this deck is and what it is not. All right, so for starters, this deck is not a tempo deck or a Sentomaru deck. What it is a mixture of both. And I've come to this because I feel like it is just so much better and more versatile than if you choose one or the other. The problem is you weren't able to find space for a lot of these cards to kind of play it both ways. However, I think I did, and we'll talk about this deck profile, right? So we'll start with some events first, and of course we're gonna talk about quadruple Red Rock, 4 copies of Red Rock. This is obviously just gets rid of anybody in the game. It gets rid of Big Mom and Kuzan and Yamato, Isho, anything that's giving you problems. This deals with it. It also gets rid of like cards like Thatch. All right. I'm sorry. By the way, I went 4-0 in this tournament. I played against my matchups where round 1 it was Black Luffy, which is a very close game. Round 2 was Katakuri, another very close game. Round 3 was Film Dofi. That one, it was less close than the other ones, but it definitely came down to like 1 or 2 decisions or cards. So that was big. And then my final round was actually Yamato. He was 3-0. I was 4-0, or I was 3-0. So we ended up playing. So 4 Dragon Twisters, guys. Dragon Twister, not only is a trigger absolutely insane, it bounces a 6 cost or less, but also this is key into your Law and Zoro matchups. If we did have one more round, one of our undefeated guy got paired down in the 4th round, had to play against Zoro and lost. He was playing Whitebeard. So if I would have had to play Zoro, this would have been massive against Zoro because you open up this and ulti and you pretty much just win the game, in my opinion, because, all they do is rely on their 1-drops and then they rely on Marco. And then we have multiple ways to get rid of Marco with Red Rock and 3000 Worlds and Kaido and Mihawk and all of that. All of these cards get rid of Marco, so not really a problem at all. And then Dragon Twister gets rid of all the manure cards, all the little crappy little annoying cards, and then we can just beat over the Zoro. So I think this card is insane, and I love playing 4 copies of it. So 4 Dragon Twisters, and then we're only playing 3000 Worlds. And the reason we're only playing 3, guys, is because we are playing Sentomaru. Sometimes 3000 Worlds can really clog, and you want to play your Sentomaru or you want to do 3000 Worlds. One of those is going to be stuck in your hand while you're just doing other plays, and this really is only good at the very end of the game or in the very beginning of the game. Same with Sentomaru. So it just feels like if you have both of these in hand, then it clogs, and I just didn't like having it. So I cut one, and I didn't miss it a single time. It felt good every single time. All 4 rounds I played, and I personally wouldn't play 4. You guys could, though, if you want to. And then we're playing 4 Miss All Sundays. This basically is another copy of 3000 Worlds if we really need to. It also is really good into Law and Zoro because we can fish back out our Dragon Twister. Just overall, just a really good card. And I love this card a lot. It's a 1k counter when you don't have any. You know what's also really cool? Oh, I'll explain that later on in the video, what I did, which is really cool. But that's 4 Miss All Sundays. I think we're only playing a total of 6 blockers in this deck. We're playing 2 ulti. Same thing with the Zoro and Law matchup. Zoro and the Law matchup can be very tough, but you can put them in very weird spots if you go first against them and just play ulti on curve. I think it's just fantastic. I want to find a way to play 3 of these, but it seems like maybe in a bigger tournament this is probably better at 3, but I don't know. It just depends. My local's full of like Katakuris and like Katakuri, Dofi, Croc. There's some Whitebeards and some Laws. So I feel like there's not a lot of Zoros. in my locals, just like one or two. So it just felt like 2 ulti was fine, but maybe in a bigger event it might be better to play 3. But what you should play 4 of is 4 Senamaru's right here. So Senamaru is just so strong, guys. I'm actually going to post a video of me playing in the finals where this guy literally hard casted Thunderbolt out of life, trashing one of his own life just to kill Senamaru, because Senamaru generates so much value. Not only do you get to figure out what's in your life, or at least what to expect in your life, but you also get to just establish bodies every single turn. And with cards like Red Rock, you can play Red Rock and cheat out a Pacifista for free and have 1 extra Dawn available for something else, right? Like a Kaya or something, and then bounce back the Kaya with your effect. So Senamaru is just massive. I absolutely love this card, and I don't think I would change it to 3. I know a lot of people are playing 3. I like 4. I like to see it. I am only playing 3 of the 4/6 vanilla Pacifistas, and I am playing 2 of the blocker Pacifistas. Guys, whenever people are establishing a lot of pressure on the board and you're like very close to like clearing their board, like you get rid of one of their cards with, I don't know, like Soga King, and you have some Dawn over to play the Pacifista, I think it's better to play the Pacifista when like they're trying to be overly aggressive, because what Crocodile doesn't want to do is go down to 1 life. It just doesn't want to go down to 1 life. It wants to like stay at like 2 or 3. But so if they're like just like pressuring your life all the time, and you know the next play they're gonna do is just like put like 4 on their leader and swing, that's when I play the Pacifista for my deck, or just hard play it for my hand, because like we don't play a lot of blockers, and we don't want to waste too many 2Ks on defending like a really big attack. So this Pacifista is literally just to like it's just to like stall for that intermediary turn where you are in the process of clearing their board, but you're just not quite there yet. And that's what this Pacifista is for, which I really like. So I like 2 a lot. A lot of people were playing Kuma as well. I'm just not playing it because I need to fit more stuff into the deck. But I do like Kuma as well. And then we're playing the 12 2Ks. In previous versions, I think we were playing like 8 or 10, but 12 is just, oh, sorry about that. And then obviously we're playing the Sakazukis. That's a bad glare right there. But 12 2Ks, it's just the standard. I feel like, I know a lot of people say that Alvida is better than Mihawk. I personally just prefer Mihawk, 1, because he has a winner card, which is really cool. But 2 is people say Alvida is just like, I don't know, somehow more playable than Mihawk. I feel like in more situations I'd play Mihawk to cycle my hand and also like attack for 6,000, rather than just like play Alvida, who can get killed by literally everything. It can get killed by Fire Fist, it can get killed by Marco, it can get killed by Vista or Jet Pistol, it can get bottom decked. Like, it is way too easy to remove, and it's very rare that you're just going to be able to play that Alvida anytime. Whereas Mihawk, sometimes you don't have anything to play for 4 Dawn. I mean, and if your hand's kind of bricky, just play this Mihawk, and then next turn you have a play, and you're establishing body while cycling cards. So I think Mihawk is just far more playable than Alvida, personally, and I would never play Alvida. I think Alvida is absolutely terrible. But yeah, that's just my opinion right there. What I believe is a big difference in this deck than other decks is the 3 Zephs. The 3 Zephs are there for the Parasparrow. It's good. It's great against yellow, because they'll play like Brûlé on turn. Obviously, you want to go first against yellow, just because you can like fill out your curve better, especially with the Zeph, and that's what it helps with. But if they play like attack for 7k, you take it, and they place Parasparrow, you bounce it and establish a body. Next turn, they do the same thing. You bounce it with 3 of the Soga Kings, and then you establish a body. And the whole time you're swinging at 6k, 7k, 6ks and 7ks pretty much only. And they literally have to discard every 2k from their hand or take the life. All right. And then when they're attacking for 7k with their leader, their Katakuri, all you have to do is discard a 2k counter to get out of that, right? They have to establish extra Dawn to get rid of these cards, and they still have all these dead cards in hand because you keep bouncing them, and so they can never establish bodies. So what this deck does is every single time that they establish body, at least for yellow, you're going to bounce it or bottom deck it with these 6 cards right here, all right? And then obviously Soga King can help you cycle dead cards in hand. It's really good. Soga King's obviously great into Thatch. It's great into the Parasparrow and Randolph for yellow. It's really good into even decks like Blue Mirror Match. If they play, something like Senamaru or a Pacifista, or that 6/8 vanilla that some people are playing. This just gets rid of that, and it's great. It's just great in all matchups. I wouldn't play 4 because it gets kind of cloggy, but I do like it at 3. And then of course we're playing the 4 Mihawks. I only have 2 all arts, which is very sad. But I got them for very cheap, so that's why I'm playing them. Shout out to my boy Zach. Mihawk is just insane, guys. You know how it goes. Establishing a body while getting rid of a 7 cost or less, especially on curve, is just really good. There's very few ways to get rid of him. When I did play against Black Luffy, he did Kuzan and then Garp it, which is definitely one way to get rid of him. But most of the time when he's on the board, he stays there, at least the whole game. So Mihawk is just fantastic. And then obviously we're playing 2 Kaido. I used to think, what's funny is I used to think Kaido was like way better than Mihawk. But from just my testing, it feels like Kaido is just slightly worse than Mihawk. Because like, I don't know, like obviously you have to like just the curve, you know, because like you go Zeph into Sogeking into Kaido or into Mihawk, like that's great. For Kaido, you can't really like go Mihawk and then use your leader effect. If you want to play this Kaido, you can't use your leader effect when you Mihawk, so you can't get like that double like usage out of your Dawn. So I just think that's a little bit of a deterrent, and plus you have to wait a turn to play him, and sometimes like you really need to use your leader effect. However, he does have a really cool interaction with Kaya, where if the turn before you Mihawk and then you Kaya and like try to cycle out your hand, next turn you can Kaido, bounce back the Kaya for your 3 cost or less, and then bounce one of their 8 costs. That's really big as well. And Kaido obviously is just like a really big body that is great at like establishing like tempo. If you can play him and you're like safe, I think like this card's like Exodia, like you like automatically win, especially with your leader effect. You bounce a 8 or less, a 3 or less, and then your leader can bounce a 5 or less. So it's just like just wipe their board. I think Cross AI called it Exodia, so it's very true. But yeah, guys, that's the deck list. If you guys want to play this, you know, feel free to. I think this deck is very strong. I really don't think it has a lot of bad matchups personally. Just because we built it to literally have an answer for every single deck. I played against Yellow today. I played against Film Dofi today. I played against like Black today. I didn't play against any Red, but we had like I've played it a ton against Law and Zoro and Whitebeard, and we have pretty good matchups into them, especially if we draw our Dragon Twisters and Ultis. Like it is not a free win for those decks. So and I honestly think that we're obviously favored into Whitebeard, and I honestly think we're favored into Zoro. Law could be 50-50 if they draw the gas, like it's kind of tough still. But I mean, this deck really is like, I built it to literally like not have any bad matchups, especially with the triggers in this deck. Like you can get lucky and just like cheese people out of life, kind of like Yellow. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.